History is full of strange twists, but sometimes the coincidences are so eerie they feel impossible. Today, we're uncovering 5 of the creepiest coincidences in history, each one more unsettling than the last. Was it pure chance or something stranger? Let's find out. At number 5, the twin brothers who lived the same life. In Ohio, twin boys were separated at birth, adopted by completely different families, and grew up unaware of each other's existence. But when they finally met at age 39, they discovered something chilling. Their lives had been near carbon copies. Both had been named James. Both married women named Linda, divorced and remarried to women named Betty. Each had a son, one spelled James Allen, the other James Allen, and both worked the same job, sheriff's deputy. Psychologists studied the men, trying to determine whether this was extreme genetic influence or just mind-bending coincidence. Their mannerisms, tastes, even their favorite brand of cigarettes matched. The odds, almost incalculable. At number 4, the book that predicted the Titanic. In 1898, 14 years before the Titanic disaster, author Morgan Robertson published a novel titled Futility, The Wreck of the Titan. The story described an unsinkable ocean liner, nearly identical in size to the Titanic, making a maiden voyage across the North Atlantic in April, only to hit an iceberg and sink. Both the fictional Titan and the real Titanic were about 800 feet long, carried around 2,500 passengers, and had lifeboats for barely half. Both sank hundreds of miles from Newfoundland in freezing waters with a massive loss of life. When the Titanic sank in 1912, people were shocked by how eerily Robertson's fiction matched reality. He denied being a prophet, insisting he just knew shipbuilders were overconfident and lifeboat laws were dangerously outdated. At number 3, the reappearing baby. In 1889, a ship sank off the coast of Wales. Out of all the passengers, only one baby girl survived, rescued by a man named Hugh Williams. Years later, another ship sank in almost the exact same spot. The sole survivor, again, a baby girl, saved, again, by a man named Hugh Williams. But it doesn't stop there. In 1940, yet another ship went down in those same waters. One survivor, a baby boy this time, pulled from the wreckage by yet another rescuer named Hugh Williams. The odds of 3 separate maritime disasters, all in the same location, all with a baby as the sole survivor, all saved by men with the same name. So unlikely that some historians have suggested Hugh Williams may have been a common pseudonym used in Wales, but even that doesn't fully explain it. At number 2, the Lincoln-Kennedy connection, perhaps the most famous coincidence in political history. Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846, Kennedy in 1946. Lincoln became president in 1860, Kennedy in 1960. Both were assassinated on a Friday in the presence of their wives, and both were shot in the head. Their assassins? John Wilkes Booth and Lee Harvey Oswald, each with 15 letters in their names. Booth was born in 1839, Oswald in 1939. Both were known by all 3 names in the press. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy, and Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln, and both were succeeded by vice presidents named Johnson, Andrew Johnson and Lyndon B. Johnson, born exactly 100 years apart. Historians insist it's just a quirk of numbers and names, but the sheer volume of parallels has made this a conspiracy theorist's favourite case for decades. And at number 1, the Poe shipwreck. In 1838, Edgar Allan Poe published his only complete novel, The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. In the story, shipwreck survivors, starving at sea, draw lots and kill a young cabin boy named Richard Parker to eat. 46 years later, in 1884, the real ship Mignonette sank. The survivors, stranded without food, killed and ate the cabin boy. His name? Richard Parker. The coincidence was so exact that newspapers at the time accused the men of being inspired by Poe's work. They swore they'd never read it. The trial that followed, known as the Dudley and Stevens case, became a landmark in maritime law, setting the precedent that necessity is no defense for murder. Patterns like these make us question how random life really is. Are they proof of fate, statistical quirks, or just our minds connecting dots that aren't really there?